welcome to Live Interactive English. I'm your host, Nina.
And I'm Matt. Today we're talking about an article called Tiny Fish, Big Danger.
Ooh, I wonder which tiny fish they are referring to, because there are a few dangerous fish, right?
Well, one that I think of is actually the puffer fish, because it's
Puffer fish.
but when it's not puffy, it's quite small. I might call it a tiny fish.
Okay.
And I know that these can have big danger, and sometimes it's because of when they're eaten as food.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I remember this episode of one of my favorite shows when I was a kid, The Simpsons, where the main character, Homer, went to a Japanese restaurant and ordered this puffer fish meal. But the chef that usually prepares it wasn't in the restaurant at the time.
Oh, no.
So his assistant had to try to prepare the fish.
Okay.
But he didn't know how, and after Homer had eaten the fish, they discovered that this chef's assistant had prepared it incorrectly, and for the rest of the episode, Homer thought that he was going to die in the next 24 hours. He had to make a list of things that he wanted to do in those last 24 hours before he died.
Wow, okay. So I have heard that the puffer fish can be dangerous if we eat it, but I actually don't really know how dangerous and what the risks are and why that is. So I'm guessing we're going to learn a little bit about that right now.
All right, let's see.
Have you ever heard of animals that can blow themselves up like balloons? How about creatures that turn into spiky balls when they feel threatened? Those animals are pufferfish, and more than 120 species of them live in waters around the world. They can be as short as 2.5 centimeters or as long as 1 meter. They can be spotted or striped, and can even have red eyes. But they all have one very famous thing in common: they puff up. So, what on earth are they eating to get so big?
Okay, welcome back to part 1 of Tiny Fish, Big Danger.
Have you ever heard of animals that can blow themselves up like balloons? How about creatures that turn into spiky balls when they feel threatened?
Ooh.
So, yeah, they can blow themselves up like balloons. Well, I think when I do think of that, I think of like bullfrogs can, blow their necks out like a balloon.
Yeah.
But the spiky balls thing, I don't, because, I think a spiky would mean having pointy projections coming out from something. Like, a durian has many of these spiky things on the outside.
Yeah.
And so what else makes spiky balls when
There's
threatened?
other animals, but not sea creatures, right? So the only one that comes to mind would be the pufferfish. Yes.
Okay, so in there we use the word creature. So a creature means some kind of animal or living thing, but we don't know what. So it's a way to say an animal without defining what kind of animal, what kind of living thing we are talking about. And this most often would not mean any kind of person.
That's
it's something
true.
maybe you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So for example, the zoo is home to many interesting creatures.
All right, so also we learned the word threaten. So we learned that this fish will blow up with spikes when it feels threatened. So it means to say you will do something bad or harmful to someone. Okay. So if you feel threatened, you would want to protect yourself, right? For example, I felt threatened by the way the man looked at me. So I thought maybe the man was going to harm me in some way.
Okay.
So continuing with the article, those animals are pufferfish, and more than 120 species of them live in waters around the world. So over 120 species of pufferfish.
I didn't even know that there were 2 different species of pufferfish. I thought there were just the one, then that they were all the same. Some were big and small, maybe because they're older and younger, but I'm wrong. there's 120, more than 120.
That is very cool. They can be as short as 2.5 centimeters or as long as 1 meter. What? Okay, so they can be as short as 2.5 centimeters, which is that big, or as long as 1 meter. That is really big.
A scary pufferfish.
It is. They can be spotted or striped and can even have red eyes. Okay, they can be spotted. Spotted means they have little spots on them, right?
Little round dots or markings.
Or striped, which means they have lines, right?
Like a zebra.
That's cool.
But they all have one very famous thing in common. They puff up.
Yeah.
Well, that must be why they're called the puffer fish, because they puff, meaning they swell or get bigger. They puff up.
Indeed.
Okay, so for example, you can puff up your cheeks like a chipmunk by going like this, and you look like a puffer fish or a chipmunk.
Yeah.
Okay, continuing. So what on earth are they eating to get so big?
Okay, so maybe one specific type of species will actually, eat something that makes them bigger than the other ones, right?
I don't know if eating helps them. I know eating, like chipmunks have puffy cheeks because they put lots of nuts and seeds in their cheeks to carry them around.
Yeah.
But I don't think that these pufferfish are actually puffed up with food or anything that they're eating. But I guess we're gonna have to wait to find out.
Yes.
So we're gonna find out more about the pufferfish and how they work when we come back after the break.
Okay.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。这2天的课文是要介绍 pufferfish 河豚。同学们也许有听过河豚可以把自己像气球一样充气，那这种生物在感觉受到威胁时会变成带刺的球。那我们先补充一下 spiky 就可以形容带刺的、有尖刺的。Matt 老师在解释单字时，他用到 pointy。Point 加上 y， 那这个字可以形容是尖的。还有用到 projection， 就是 project 这个字变成动词 project， 然后再加 ion，projection 表示突出物或者是隆起物。好，那么单字 creature 则是表达生物，尤其是指动物哦。我们再看到 threaten 这个动词，它表示威胁、危害。我们课文里面是用它的过去分词 threatened 来当形容词，形容受威胁的。好，那课文提到河豚有120多种生活在世界各地的水域，它们的长度可以短到2.5公分，或者是长到1公尺，落差很大耶。那可能会带有斑点或是条纹，甚至可能有红眼睛。不过呢，它们都有一个共同点，就是会鼓起来。好，那这边有一个重点，我们要进入文法时间。这边我们来学习 have in common 是表达有什么共同点。说明两者之间的共同点时，我们可以在 have 和 in common 之间加上共同点，或者是 a lot 很多 ，something 一些 ，little 没多少，或是 nothing 完全没有等等。例如 ，Julie and I have a love of music in common。我跟 Julie 都热爱音乐，或者是说 Julie and I have something in common。We both love music. 我跟 Julie 有共同点，我们2个都热爱音乐。好，那接回到课文中。Well, it turns out that diet has nothing to do with pufferfish's ability to grow up to 3 times their usual size. Instead, they achieve this by filling their stomachs with water when they sense danger, thus making it harder for other animals to swallow them.But that's not the only weapon they have. By eating a particular kind of bacteria present in their food, pufferfish are able to produce a deadly poison capable of killing much larger animals, including humans. In some cases, a single pufferfish liver can contain enough of this poison to take out 30 people. Scary.
Welcome back. So before the break, we were talking about these creatures that can puff up and become spiky when threatened, and these are of course pufferfish. So we learned that there are more than 120 species of pufferfish, and they can range from 2.5 centimeters all the way up to 1 meter in length. Okay, and they can be striped or spotted.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to learn more about the pufferfish right now.
Yes, so before the break, we asked, what is it that they eat that makes them puff up? So continuing with the article, well, it turns out that diet has nothing to do with pufferfish's ability to grow up to 3 times their usual size. Okay. Instead, they achieve this by filling their stomachs with water when they sense danger, thus making it harder for other animals to swallow them. Okay, so when they sense danger, they puff up and they have spikes on them, right? So it would make sense that maybe a predator wouldn't want to eat them with all those spikes.
Right. But if they're filling their stomach with water, aren't they eating or drinking the water? They are taking it into their bodies, into their stomach where their food goes.
I guess they don't keep it.
I guess not.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a word there which is to achieve, and to achieve means to be successful in doing something. So to do something that maybe others would think is difficult to do, by overcoming something. So it might not be difficult for a pufferfish to puff up,
Yeah.
but I certainly couldn't achieve that.
Yeah, you couldn't.
So another example sentence, I achieved my goals by working very hard.
Okay.
But that's not the only weapon they have. By eating a particular kind of bacteria present in their food, pufferfish are able to produce a deadly poison capable of killing much larger animals, including humans.
Wow. Okay, so then that makes more sense about when you mentioned The Simpsons. Homer was panicking that he might die.
Right, and we talked about the danger of these tiny fish.
Yes.
So they actually make a deadly poison. So some animals make poison that will make people sick, but in this case it's a deadly poison, meaning it can cause death or can kill people.
Yes, and we also learned the word weapon is something you use to hurt or protect yourself or others. So in this case, it could be a deadly weapon that they use to protect themselves and harm whatever is trying to kill them, right? So for example, Gareth's charm is his secret weapon, and mine is my beauty.
Okay. Okay, so capable, they're capable of doing something. Being capable simply means that one can do something or is able to do something. So I'm capable of talking just means I can talk.
Yeah.
I'm capable of riding a bike is the same as saying I can ride a bike.
Yes.
So another example, the student is capable of solving the math problems. Means that this student can solve the problems.
Yeah. And continuing, in some cases, a single pufferfish liver can contain enough of this poison to take out 30 people. Scary.
It is scary because these pufferfish that you get in restaurants aren't usually that big, and I wouldn't want to share a meal with 30 other people.
That is crazy. Anyways, let's learn more about this poison and where it is or how people still eat pufferfish.
Right, well, yeah, I think that is what we're going to learn about a bit more next time, because certainly one want to eat the liver if it has that much poison in it, but I think there are parts of the fish that might be, delicious to some people. But we're going to learn more about that and more about pufferfish when we see you for part 2 next time.
See you.
刚刚说河豚会把自己鼓起来，那它们到底是吃什么才能变得这么大呢？结果发现啊，河豚能够长到平常大小3倍的这个能力，跟饮食是无关的。当它们感到危险的时候，会透过让胃装满水来达到这个状况，因而就让其他动物会更难的吞下它们。可是这也不是它们唯一的武器，它们吃的食物里面有一种特定的细菌，让它们能产生一种致命毒素，这可以杀死更大 的动物，包括人类哦。在某些情况下，光是一个河豚的肝可能就含有可以毒死30个人的毒素。我们补充一下 ，Nina 老师她刚刚有提到 predator 来指掠食者，那它是拼作 predator。predator。那么课文单字 achieve 它是动词，表示达到、实现、获得。weapon 则是武器、兵器，它也有手段、工具的意思。那么 capable 则是形容有什么能力的、胜任的。be capable of 加上名词或动名词，就可以表达能够怎么样，有能力做某事的。那这边2个重点，我们进入文法时间。我们来看第一个重点是 turn out， 表示结果是……最后变成怎么样？通常这是指令人意外或者是跟计划不同的事。我们以下介绍2种常见句型。第一个是 somebody or something turn out to be 再加形容词或名词，那 to be 可以省略。例如 The meeting turned out to be fruitful， 那场会议结果很有收获。第二个句型是 It turns out 加上 that 主词加动词，例如 It turns out that they have been dating for 5 months， 结果发现他们已经交往5个月嘞。好，那第二个重点是表示倍数的句型。我们在表达多少倍的时候，英文就会用到数字加 times， 像 3 times 就是3倍。那如果是2倍，我们可以说 2 times 或者是 twice。1/2则是会用 half。好，那么以下要介绍2个表示倍数的句型哦。第一个句型是倍数加所有格，后面可以接个形容词，然后再加名词。例如 His son is about half his height， 他儿子的身高大约是他的1半。那第二个句型是倍数加上 the 名词 of 名词，像 Their new house is twice the size of their old one，他们的新家是旧家的2倍大。好，那么以上这些讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
Have you ever heard of animals that can blow themselves up like balloons? How about creatures that turn into spiky balls when they feel threatened? Those animals are pufferfish, and more than 120 species of them live in waters around the world. They can be as short as 2.5 centimeters or as long as 1 meter. They can be spotted or striped and can even have red eyes. But they all have one very famous thing in common. They puff up. So, what on earth are they eating to get so big? Well, it turns out that diet has nothing to do with pufferfish's ability to grow up to 3 times their usual size. Instead, they achieve this by filling their stomachs with water when they sense danger, thus making it harder for other animals to swallow them. But that's not the only weapon they have. By eating a particular kind of bacteria present in their food, pufferfish are able to produce a deadly poison capable of killing much larger animals, including humans. In some cases, a single pufferfish liver can contain enough of this poison to take out 30 people. Scary.
Hey, it's Kiwi on the street. I'm Kiki.
And I'm Winnie. Say, Kiki, you know, in English, we actually have a lot of phrases that we use that were from a long time ago.
That's right. And sometimes these phrases, they kind of seem like they don't really make sense, but actually they're quite meaningful. So today we are going to learn some new phrases.
Let's work on some phrases. The first one is 上床睡觉.
Hit the hay.
I guess it's hit the hay.
Hit the hay.
Okay.
Sandwich.
Hit the hay. Hit the spot.
Hit the spot. Oh, I'm sorry. It's hit the hay. Okay, very good. Okay, that was a hard one though. Okay.
发挥最大实力，突破极限。
Okay, so push the envelope or push the letter.
Push the letter.
第二个吧. This one?
Push the envelope. Push the envelope.
Push the envelope. 先微信.
Stay with him. Okay, very good. Let's see. And ding, ding, ding. It's a good thing you went with him. Push the envelope. So what have we learned today? Let's take a look at some of the phrases that we learned today. The first one is hit the hay, which means to go to bed or sleep.
Prior to modern mattresses, people slept on sacks with any material they found, and they would put it in these sacks. Most of the time, it was hay, and they would lie down on it to go to bed. Now, before they went to bed, they would hit the mattress and shape it into a comfortable position. Some say that hitting the mattresses also drove off any bugs. That's why you can say hit the hay or hit the sack if you're getting ready for bed. The next one is push the envelope. It means to test your limits or take risks. This phrase came from mathematics and engineering. In this case, the envelope means boundaries or limits. So, to push the envelope means to push your limits or to try to exceed the boundaries when you're doing something. All right, that's all the phrases that we learned today. Kiwi later.